All right, everybody. Thank you all for being here today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your Wednesday, your hump day, to spend some time with me as I bring you some more extremist content, some right wing extremism like nobody else can do. Now, I do want to make a very big announcement today. I have changed my identity, guys, and you are not allowed to criticize my new identity. Okay, that's it. If you criticize my new identity, if you disagree with it, it's because you're a bigot. You probably voted for Trump. There's something wrong with you if you disagree with how I identify. All right. Now, with that said, please give it a thumbs up on your way in. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Now, if you are looking for the super chat button, you're not going to find it because unfortunately this channel is not yet monetized, but we are going to change that. There's only a couple more things I need to do to get it monetized. I think one of them is like watch time hours. So we'll obviously build that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Links are in the description. Thanks to the moderators for being here. Thanks to everybody that's here. Please, again, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I got quite a few tabs open today because it's gonna be a fun one. All right. So oh yeah, and one other thing I want to mention too. For those of you that are like, get on Rumble, figure out how to live stream. I spent like 20 minutes yesterday trying to figure it out. I've also DM'd Rumble directly on Twitter. We'll see if they get back to me, but it is not an intuitive platform. It's just not. The user interface is not my favorite. There's work to be done over there. So long story short, I cannot live stream on Rumble. It is what it is. Not right now anyway. So we're just going to be here. All right. Now, let's get this going. All right. Now, I want to start with a positive story. I'm trying to be positive. You know, all the stories are pretty much negative. So let's start with something that's semi-positive. All right. This is out of Tampa Bay. Someone fed up with the potholes on a Florida road decided to take matters into their own hands to prove a point. They planted a banana tree in a pothole right in the middle of the street. Love it. Boom. That is so perfect. That is the best way to stick it to the government because they're mismanaging taxpayer money. I mean, their incompetence is just beyond the peril. Like, you can't even fix potholes. You can't even do the fundamental basic functionality of government, but we're supposed to trust you with our healthcare, trust you with our defense and all of that. Like, this is a prime example of why you should not rely on the government to do anything. So props to whoever did this. This isn't the first time a story like this is surfaced. There's one where these kids in Michigan, I think a couple years ago, Michigan has awful roads because the winters just destroy them. So some kids in Michigan decided to fill some potholes in for free. And yeah, I think the city actually intervened and cracked down on them. Imagine that. You're out there trying to make sure that nobody in your neighborhood blows out a tire or screws up their axle on potholes that the city failed to fix. And then they go fix it on their own. And then the city steps in and says, no, you can't do that. Ridiculous. But anyway, I think this is a funny kind of feel-good story. And it's a way to say, hey, look, if you don't want this tree growing in the middle of the road, there's only one way to resolve it. I only planted it because you guys provided the pothole. So I love it. So that's just a little fun story right there. All right. So yeah, let's move on. Let's get the show started. Now, on today's episode of Alex Jones Was Right, check this out. Governor of West Virginia, who he didn't kill himself. I'm just going to say that. He's alive today, but with this admission, he should be watched closely.
I'm going to give you a few stats now about what's going on in West Virginia, but West Virginia is seeing a 26% increase in positive cases of people that are fully vaccinated over the last 8 weeks. We'll read that one more time. West Virginia is seeing a 26% increase in positive cases in people that are fully vaccinated, and a 21% increase in breakthrough cases requiring hospitalization for people that are fully vaccinated. We have also seen a 25% increase in deaths of people that are fully vaccinated over the last 8 weeks.
I can't believe he said that.
Now, that's not a 25% increase of the total numbers or whatever. It is a 25% increase of deaths of people that are fully vaccinated over the last 8 weeks.
Whew, I don't know if he was allowed to say that, y'all. I mean, you're not allowed to say the truth out loud. You can think it, but you're not allowed to say it, especially if you're a governor. So we'll see what comes of this. I'm not going to spend any time digging into that because, I've already got one channel strike. But, do with that information what you will. That's the governor of West Virginia. I mean, he's presenting stats, which I'm assuming he's getting from the health department in his state. And if you extrapolate those numbers out to the rest of the country, specifically more populated areas like New York, Florida, Texas, California, I mean, the number's probably higher. So we'll leave it there and we'll get to the nonsense, this cult. Guys, this whole branch COVID-19 religious cult is just sickening. It's never been about health. I know it sounds like a broken record every time I say it. It's never been about health. It's always been about, psycho, power hungry control freaks trying to police your face, police what goes in your body, just psychopaths, authoritarians. So this is the big story right here. This is what's fueling all my passion today. We have another evil, wicked teacher that needs to be rooted out. Hopefully this teacher gets fired. This story is from the 4th of September, and I just heard about it yesterday. I'm really shocked nobody else covered it. But anyway, I'm going to play this news clip and let the mother tell you everything that just happened with her son getting policed by his teacher and humiliated.
The mom of a local 9-year-old boy is demanding his substitute teacher be fired after she says that a teacher taped a face mask to her son's face when he did not wear it properly in the classroom. She spoke to us under the condition that we not use her name or show her face, worried her son could be further traumatized at school, but wanting other parents to know what is happening in one 4th grade classroom.
I was furious. I was scared for my son on what kind of long-term effect it's going to have on him socially. The fact that the entire class was laughing.
This mom of a 4th grade student at Reedham Elementary in Mountain's Edge says his substitute teacher stepped way over the line when the 9-year-old failed to properly wear his mask in class.
He went to get a sip of water, forgot to put the mask on. Teacher then did not tell him to put it back on or send him to the office. She instead pulled him up in the front of the classroom in front of all of the students, and she then taped the mask across the top of his face.
The mom says the sub added a second layer of tape from his nose to his forehead, and with tape still on his face, he went to the office to pick up homework he'd forgotten at home and his dad dropped off.
When he went to the office to pick up that homework is when one of the administrators noticed the tape on his face.
Alarmed, that administrator took the tape off of the child and alerted the principal, who went to the classroom to investigate, filling out this report.
And she saw another student.
Hold on. Let's rewind. Look at that report. Look at that.
Who went to the classroom to investigate, filling out this report.
Look at that report. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but that looks like some scribble scrabble right there. That looks like, let's just jot down some notes. How many more of these teachers are going to surface? It's not just the indoctrination, the critical race theory, the insults and political rants and communist teaching. Now they're getting physical with students with this mask situation. This is beyond psychotic. How are these teachers getting through the hiring process? This boggles the mind. This is in Vegas, by the way.
And she saw another student who she thought was my son with tape on their face as well.
This mom later asked her son, had other students also had their masks taped to their face? He said yes. It's been happening in his classroom since the beginning of the school year.
He says that he remembers up to 5.
This mom says it is not a political issue. She has no problem with the mask mandate, but says 9-year-olds like her son are often forgetful and should never be punished, purposefully embarrassed in this way.
He was very upset. He was crying. He was humiliated.
Fox 5 questioned the school district about this incident. They responded, quote, "The district is aware of the isolated incident and is dealing with the employee through the proper channels."
Oh, you see that downplay right there? Didn't the mom just say that her son told her that there were at least 5 incidents and that it happened to other kids? And then the school district said they're aware of an isolated incident. So already off top, they're trying to protect this teacher. They're trying to make it seem like this is a one-off thing. There's got to be a rational explanation for why she taped a mask to his face. She needs to be flat out fired. At the very least, there needs to be a full-blown investigation. Guarantee she's got Mal's little red book sitting in her desk. How are these people slipping through the cracks? I just can't get it, guys. What is happening here? How are these teachers getting more extreme? Again, like I said last week, they're more emboldened. They feel like they have the upper hand. They're overplaying their hand, and we're starting to see that pushback. We're starting to see people show up. When is their next school board meeting? Does anybody know about this? If anybody watching right now is out in Nevada, I don't know what school district this is. I think it's somewhere in Las Vegas, but there needs to be a full community outrage of parents, concerned citizens showing up to the school board meeting. Get it? This teacher needs to be fired. How are you going to put your hands on somebody's child over this COVID situation? That's what I say. It's a cult. It's a religious cult. She felt so obligated to make sure that the kid, a 9-year-old, was wearing his mask properly, that she's like, I'm just going to tape it to your face and humiliate you in front of the classroom. What does that do for her? What is that teacher getting out of that situation? Pushing her beliefs, her ideology on the children in that classroom. It's like, what next? We're going to find out that a teacher went back to like the 50s and was paddling students? Are we going to find out that that's what's going on too? What else is going on in classrooms that we don't know about? This is a unique space and time that we're in right now. This timeline where teachers are being exposed like never before for their indoctrination, for their evil deeds, for their pushing their beliefs, for their unhinged behavior, screaming, ranting. I'm surprised nobody got this on camera. That's what's the most shocking thing. Everything else we've seen documented on camera. I'm surprised none of the students had a phone or any kind of, I don't know, little device where they could record something and catch this teacher in the act. And the fact that the school did nothing about it when there's been at least 5 kids that have had the same incident, that just baffles the mind. So yes, we have another extremist, psychotic teacher trying to enforce COVID measures, taking matters into her own hands, overstepping her boundaries. Her job is to educate. Every teacher's job is to educate. What other profession can you go and just overstep your boundaries, go outside of your job description, take it upon yourself to enforce measures that you didn't even put in place? You're just following orders. And the orders don't say that you need to physically touch a student and tape something to their face. I mean, you could just go down the list of how this is so wrong. This is so just completely out of bounds. I would almost say that criminal charges need to be filed because that could be seen as assault. You put tape on that kid's face. I don't know what kind of tape it was. Could have just been Scotch tape. Could have been Gorilla Glue tape. Who knows? Could peel off his skin. Could irritate his skin. Any type of thing where that kid is affected by it, on top of the fact that you've humiliated him in front of the classroom. And the mom I don't know why the mom didn't want to show her face. Maybe she just wanted to remain private. Maybe that's just how she is. Doesn't want to be on camera. Or maybe she feels threatened or intimidated. Maybe she doesn't want to see any backlash from people who are in favor of this. Yes, there are probably people who are in favor of this. And the ones that aren't, they don't want to probably say anything because they don't want to, swallow their pride. People that believe in these mask mandates. Well, if you believe so strongly in these mask mandates, how do you feel about a teacher going out of her way to force a kid to wear a mask? Not just like, scolding him like, hey, Timmy, you got to put your mask on or you're not going to go to recess. She's like calling him to the front of the classroom, putting tape on his face. It's a cult, you guys. This is a cult. Who does that? And it's not just this situation. It's not just this elementary school teacher taping a mask to a kid's face. It's colleges. Check this out. Rutgers bars unvaccinated student from attending virtual classes. Virtual classes. You can't even take online courses from the privacy of your dorm room or your off-campus apartment or your parents' basement or the beach or wherever you are. You can't even take remote classes because you haven't gotten the jab. It's a cult. Who does that? They're overstepping their boundaries. They're overplaying their hand. They're getting desperate. At first, they were just like, okay, freebies, college tuition, lottery, donuts, free tickets to the concert and movie tickets and all of that stuff. Then it was, you really need to do it. It's your patriotic duty. It's your moral authority or your moral obligation. Take one for the team. Show that you care about humanity. Then it's like, you're barred from society if you don't do it. And then when people are like, okay, fine, didn't really want to participate in society, then they're like, well, now you can't take online classes. Now see how they just keep on shifting the goalpost? If their goal was to say, we're going to take more of a hardline stance, we're going to be more rigorous, we're going to deny you this. If you want to get vaccinated or if you want to participate in this, you got to get the jab. When people are like, fine, I just won't participate in this, they're like, well, no, actually, we're going to come to your door now. Now we're going to come inside your house. What's next? We're going to strap you down to a table and force you to get it. You got I almost said Oakland Raiders. They moved to Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Raiders are basically offering people vaccinations on the spot. Like, you want to attend the game, you got to be vaccinated. They're the first team to do this. Hopefully 0 other NFL teams follow suit. But they're saying, if you want to attend one of our games, you must get the jab. And they're offering jabs on site. That's how desperate these people are. It is a freaking cult, man. You've never seen anything like this in your entire life. Never seen medicine politicized, weaponized. And what's funny is they try to make it seem like this is not political. This is about health. Anyone that says my stance on this is not political, that's because they know it's political. So they're trying to do damage control. They're trying to make the preemptive statement. It's like damage control. It's almost like, don't take this as an insult right before they insult you. That's what they do. This isn't political, but I'm going to bar people out. This isn't political, but let's release a story saying that the majority of new COVID hospitalizations are people who voted for Trump. That's a real news article. That's an actual headline. It is so just crazy. And then you've got this doctor out of Florida. Hold on. What's her name? I want to get her name correct. It is Dr. Linda Marasini. Okay. Dr. Linda Marasini out of Miami has said that she's not going to meet in person with any of her patients that haven't gotten the jab. If that's not a violation of the Hippocratic Oath, I don't know what is. If that's not her playing politics, I don't know what is. First of all, you're a doctor. Why are you in the profession if you're going to pick and choose who you see? I hope she loses all her business. See, if I was somebody who got the jab and that was my doctor and I found out that she was openly discriminating against people, especially in her profession, where she has to know that there are some people who have medical reasons that they cannot get it. So her, of all people, should know better. But if I was one of her patients, I would stand in solidarity with the people she's discriminating against. I would actively boycott. I would make sure everybody knows, don't go to this doctor because this doctor believes in discrimination. But she's out there telling people, she gave an interview. I didn't pull it up because, I just basically summarized what she said. She believes that she's doing the right thing and that it's not political. She's totally just trying to keep the community safe and healthy when the governor of West Virginia just told you what we've already known. Now, I hope that because he said that quiet part out loud, more people will say it. That just because you get that shot, that doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, you're the healthiest person on earth now. Nothing can touch you. In fact, we know that it's not true. You're like, I can't even go into it. But there are so many things that you can do to keep yourself good. I hate that I have to kind of self-censor, but it's I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because it really just, for me, it starts with liberty. You have the right to decide what goes in your body. That is not a controversial statement. That is not something that anybody should be combative against. You have the right to choose what is right for you. And of course, the counter argument is you don't have the right to do that if other people's health is at risk. You're not sick. If you're not sick, why are we even having that conversation? Whenever somebody makes that argument, they're making that argument based on the assumption that whoever doesn't want to get vaxxed is a sick person. They're sick, they're diseased, they're infected, they're spreading it. That's psychotic. That is psychotic levels of brainwashing, to where now anybody who's unvaccinated is seen as unwell, unhealthy, unsafe. You can't be around them, even though they're probably healthier than you. They probably have a better workout regimen than you, better diet, better exercise. They probably drink more water than you. But they're unhealthy because they haven't gotten Big Pharma's latest product. Again, with these Big Pharma salesmen, these branch COVIDians, kind of like, Branch Davidians, if you guys get the reference. I'm sure you do. Waco, Texas. Yeah, Branch COVIDians that worship Big Pharma, pray to Fauci. It's weird. It's a weird cult. So I don't want to get too fired up about that, but I could talk for, the whole hour about just this topic right here. Duct taping a mask to a kid's face, begging the government to force kids to have to wear masks all day, refusing service, medical treatment to people, refusing COVID tests to Candace Owens, but then also in the same breath, it's not political, but we're telling you, oh, it's Trump supporters that are getting hospitalized. And then obvious fake news articles put out by the Rolling Stones last week, straight up fake news, easily debunked. They continue to traffic in fake news stories to prop up narratives. They don't follow science. They don't follow the facts. They follow their narratives. And you see it over and over and over again, from Jussie Smollett to Covington Catholic to the Brett Kavanaugh to Russian collusion to all the other stuff. What they peed on Trump or whatever in the bed, the Russian hotel, all the fake news stories. And then they get mad when you notice that they're pushing fake news. They get mad when you don't trust them. They get mad when you have hesitancy, when you're reluctant to trust the science, when the CDC has been politicized and weaponized. The CDC is now governing private property. The FDA, they have a spotty track record. The top public servant, or the top paid public servant, is a health bureaucrat that's been in office since the 80s. And he lies, he demonizes, he targets Sturgis, college football game day. He targets specific crowds to say that's super spreader. I showed you last week 2 articles from Vaxx where they said George Floyd protests actually didn't spread COVID. January 6th insurrectionist is a super spreader event. That was a super spreader event. Are you kidding me? Then they get mad that you don't take them seriously, that you don't follow their science. Well, your science is pseudoscience. It's fake. It's junk science. It's left-wing science. It's whatever fits our narrative and empowers corrupt politicians is the science that we follow. And push back on it. Push back on this cult. Do not bow to this cult. That's what it is, a cult. It's a cult. And it's making people take extreme measures to do what they feel is right. Making these sacrifices. I hope that teacher gets fired for taping a mask to a kid's face. On what planet is that appropriate? Just assuming anyone that's not wearing a mask and hasn't gotten a jab, they might as well be carrying the bubonic plague because they're ill. And I'm afraid of them. That's not healthy. You want to talk about pandemics? We have a pandemic of mental illness right now in the country. I know that sounds mean. I'm only saying it because it's true. Who does that? Who do you know that does that? You've seen all kind of fights, brawls, because people aren't wearing a face diaper. This is insane. I want my country back. I just want to go back to the way things were. Which is why I changed my identity. I've got a new identity, guys, and I'm hoping that works. I cannot wait to wear this in public. Cannot wait. It just arrived. I cannot wait. So let's move along. Freaking cult, man. Check this headline out. Speaking of just ridiculous news, how has Joe Biden become so unpopular? I wonder why. Guys, can anybody just tell me what is it that got Joe Biden to be so unpopular? How is he it just baffles the mind. I mean, he was the most popular president in the history of the United States. Like, literally, no one's ever been more popular than him. More popular than Elvis, Michael Jackson. He's just the most popular guy ever. But yet we have this article. How did he become so unpopular? Maybe because he was never popular before. Only reason anybody knew his name in the early 2000s is because Obama picked him up off the trash heap. His political career was dead in the water. He was just some corrupt senator just taking up space, shilling for credit card companies back in the day. And then now, how is he so unpopular? Could it be inflation? Could it be the fact that he just left Americans for dead in Afghanistan? He left service dogs. He just gave the Taliban billions of dollars of military weapons and tanks, freaking Black Hawk helicopters. Could it be because he tripped up the stairs? He's an embarrassment. He promised us better health care. He commented on a 9-year-old girl and her legs being crossed and how she looks like such a young lady. He did that on camera. And I know people who voted for Biden that are pretending like it didn't happen. You play that video for them, they'll be like, it's still not as bad as what Trump tweeted that one time when Trump tweeted. You got people that want to bury their heads in the sand. But people are starting to wake up to it, honestly, which is why yesterday when I covered the college football stadiums around the country, it was more than like 3 of them. They were all chanting F Biden. And why I felt like that was so powerful is because you would think that would be Biden's base. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that there are a large amount of people that voted for the man. I mean, obviously, there's people that voted for him because they were voting against Trump. I don't think it's because they just loved him. So for what would be otherwise a strong Democrat base to be chanting F the president that they just voted for, that tells me that they're paying attention. Otherwise, they'd just be casual observers. They would just be looking at headlines. The average Democrat voter, this is just the reality of it. This is the truth. The average Democrat voter doesn't really pay attention to what's going on. They're very casual. You see it when you go interview them, you ask them questions. They don't know certain things. Some of them don't even know the 3 branches of government. I mean, you could go on and on about that, but a lot of them just go off of little sound bites and clips. And the media knows that. That's why they continue to traffic in stories. They continue to make sensationalized clickbait headlines because they know who their base is. They know who the audience is. So anyway, for a bunch of college students to be chanting that, could it be maybe because he said he was going to cancel student loan debt and he hasn't done it and they're in the middle of racking it up? Could it be that they're upset about his handling of the pandemic? He said he was going to crush the virus or shut down the virus. He has yet to do that. Could it be because he's still caging children at the border? Putting them in overflow facilities. The media ran coverage for that. They got a euphemism for it now. It's overflow facilities because if we say cages, it doesn't poll well. It's more associated with Republicans. But when Biden's in office, we call them overflow facilities. Maybe those college students are paying attention to that. Maybe they're seeing that now. Either way, the tide is turning. I feel encouraged by people who are a strong voter base for the Democrats chanting that. I mean, whether you agree with their profanity or whatever, they voice their displeasure in large numbers for this supposedly super duper popular guy. For him to be so wildly popular, you can't find his voters anywhere. If you do find people that voted for him, they're posting their L's online. They're chanting F the guy at stadiums. So if anything, you might find Biden voters, but they're not happy. When's the last time you saw a Biden flag? When's the last time you saw someone wearing a Biden t-shirt loud and proud? They sure were doing that back in November. They sure were taking victory laps. Now, where are they at? Why aren't they out there defending him, saying how great this is? We all know that if even a fraction of this were happening under Trump, then everybody's political. You notice that back in when Trump was in office, everybody had an opinion about politics. Everybody weighed in, and they only had, opinions that were critical of Trump or Republicans or conservatives or whatever. Now you can't even find those people. Now they're like, I don't do politics. How convenient. So here's Joe Biden. Yesterday, he got confronted as he's touring the Hurricane Ida hotspots, the places that got the most damage. He got heckled. He got heckled by not survivors, I guess you'd call them survivors, people in the areas that he toured. And here he is on Fox News lying about the interaction.
None of them were shouting or complaining. Every one of them were thanking me as if it was something special. I mean it sincerely, that I was here.
Yeah. Check this out.
Leave them in ruins and leave Americans behind. Leave Americans behind. He will leave you behind. You guys protecting him. Leave you guys behind. That's great. Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah, Americans are pissed off. You love to see it. That's not just it. Here's Trump here's Biden in New Jersey yesterday. Look at this. He can't go anywhere. When you go to a Biden area where Biden's going to be, you're not going to find his supporters. You won't. You'll find Trump supporters. That's how it should be. So this is New Jersey yesterday. Not a ton of people, but the people that are there have Trump flags, have American flags. They're pissed off. And now the other half of the country starting to get pissed off too. There's not much to it. You just see people with flags. That's the only time I've seen a Biden flag is it's got some obscenity on it. So that's in New Jersey. As he came in, he sees that. And this was during the campaign too. This isn't just something that just happened now. This is during the campaign too. His supporters simply don't exist. The ones that do, the ones that wear it, they're not pro-Biden. They just hated Trump. They just had Trump derangement syndrome. It would be much easier if they could be honest. I'd have more respect for people if they could just be honest and be like, actually, I just hated Trump. I just voted against him. Even though I have less money in my wallet, it was worth it to get the mean tweeter out of the White House. Psychotic, man. He's not the only world leader catching heat. First, let me play this from Trudeau in Canada. This is why this guy is getting heckled everywhere he goes.
Following up. There were a lot of anti-vaccine messages yesterday in Newmarket, but we know that there are some people who are unvaccinated who are not showing up at these protests. They can't get a vaccine because of health reasons. They don't have the right information, or they're genuinely scared, and they're not part of special interest groups. And I'm wondering what your message is to those Canadians who feel that you are abandoning them and turning society against them.
My message to those Canadians is one I give every single day. It's time to get vaccinated.
Do you see how he just dismissed the fact that people have legitimate reasons why they don't want to get it? It's not like, oh, I just followed some anti-vax conspiracy theorists on social media and they're giving me all the inside information. There's people who have decided for one reason or another that it's not right for them. And he's saying, I don't give a damn. Get the shot. And so naturally, Canadians are blocking his tour bus. You love to see it. Protests are rising around the world. This has been blocking the bus. Now, is he going to win re-election? I don't know. I don't know when he's up for re-election. But you'll find out just how corrupt their system is if a guy that's supposedly popular has this kind of reaction, this kind of response. Sorry for the profanity, guys, but this is what's really happening.
Main Street South. Main Street South.
Hey, you know what? You love to see it. This is the treatment that him and Joe Biden need to get everywhere they go. Emmanuel Macron, the same thing. Boris Johnson, whoever Australia's crazy, evil dictator is, whoever that guy is, he needs to be getting this kind of treatment. You know, peaceful protests, no doubt, but definitely let them know how you feel. I mean, this is your life. This is your life that they're trying to ruin. As they say, we're trying to save your life. This is about public health. So we got to ruin everything that you had going on. We got to destroy your business, lock you in your house, drag you out of your house, put you in quarantine camp in some cases. We got to deny you access to food, goods and services, travel. We have to control you in order to save your life. And we're supposed to believe them. The same people that can't fix a pothole. You're supposed to trust them with your entire life. This is your life. We all get about 15 minutes on this planet, and it's up to you if you want to let some other person who's no better, no smarter than you, step in and control your existence, tell you what you can and can't do, where you can and can't go. You can't watch the sunset. You can't wave or talk to your neighbors. They'll tape a mask over your face. How many arrest videos do I have to see? Out of California, out of Australia, out of Canada, out of the UK. That's what I'm saying. These protests are rising. These leaders shouldn't be able to go anywhere without people voicing their disapproval for these measures. The numbers are only going to grow from here. We're in a year and a half into this. Into 15 days, guys. We're all in this together. We're global citizens. We can do this. Again, I'm just going to go back. If you're tuning in right now, I'm going to play it one more time. Here's the governor of West Virginia.
I'm going to give you a few stats now about what's going on in West Virginia, but West Virginia is seeing a 26% increase in positive cases of people that are fully vaccinated over the last 8 weeks.
His words, not mine.
Read that one more time. West Virginia is seeing a 26% increase in positive cases in people that are fully vaccinated, and a 21% increase in breakthrough cases requiring hospitalization for people that are fully vaccinated. We have also seen a 25% increase in deaths of people that are fully vaccinated over the last 8 weeks. Now, that's not a 25% increase of the total numbers or whatever. It is a 25% increase of deaths of people that are fully vaccinated over the last 8 weeks.
Over the last 8 weeks. And they're telling you, you need to get Big Pharma's latest product. We don't care. We're going for broke here. And then they have the nerve to call you a conspiracy theorist if you question their motives, you question their agenda. They say, we're following the science. We always have been. It's just the anti-vax right-wing extremists, the Trump supporters. They're the ones that aren't following the science. Well, how come you guys aren't even acknowledging what this governor just said? Are you going to say he's not telling the truth? He's getting it from his health department in his state. So if anybody's a right-wing extremist, it's him. And I think he's been both a Democrat and a Republican before. So I don't even know what party he is technically. He's been both. So what's in it for him to say what he just said? And why aren't these people following that? Maybe it's time to pump the brakes just a little bit. Maybe you're laying it on a little too thick. Maybe you're overselling it. You're overzealous. You're aggressive. And it turns people off. It has the opposite effect of what you're looking for. Just like everything else they push. Black Lives Matter, climate change. They're so aggressive with their campaign. They're so aggressive with getting you to agree. They're not persuasive. They're not convincing. In fact, they just call you names and smear you. They try to tar and feather you if you don't just naturally agree. If you question their beliefs, their flawed logic, they don't try to convince you. They just say, fine, you racist, you bigot, you homophobe, you xenophobe. They got all these names to call you, which mean nothing at the end of the day. They spend all day and night trying to smear you because you don't agree. But they don't even believe it. How do they believe it? That's what I say. It's all about control. It's all about just control freaks. We were born free. We should live free, die free. That's the only way to live, in my opinion. Now, if people want to be in this cult where they just bow and worship the virus all day, all night, do it, but just do it hundreds of thousands of miles away from me. Get as far away from me as you can. I'm sorry. Not sorry. If somebody wants to live that way, they want to be governed hard, super duper hard. They want the government making decisions for them. They want to be controlled. Find your own little enclave. Find the most authoritarian politicians you can. Go live in that bubble. Let me live and do me. We can just coexist on opposite sides of the state, the country, wherever. Just exist over there. But that's not enough for them. Their end game is total domination. They want to dominate everything around them. They want to control you. If they don't want to control you, why don't they leave you alone? If the jabs work so well, you're safe. You're good. Leave me alone. Let me take care of myself. These people are psychotic. I don't know how many different times I got to say it, guys. It's the truth. I say it because it's true. It's psychotic levels of brainwashing, groupthink, authoritarian control, censorship. The people that are pushing this agenda, the people that are shilling and stomping the yard for big pharma. Have you ever seen it in your life? So many unpaid big pharma sales reps in this country right now, not on the payroll, but they're over there like, Team Pfizer, look at me, I'm Team Pfizer. Oh, I'm Team Moderna. That stuff is weird, man. That's weird. It's creepy. I want nothing to do with it. And the fact that they're still so aggressive, they're getting more aggressive. So what measures will they take next? If this teacher in Las Vegas or wherever she is, if she doesn't get fired, that sets a very dangerous precedent for what happens next. Because this is national news. At least it should. Actually, I don't even know if it's national news. I just heard about it this morning. And that teacher, this happened on, I believe, last week. This happened last week. So I don't know who else is talking about it, but I'm the first one to report on it that I've seen. So it's not even widespread knowledge yet. But once it does eventually become widespread knowledge, what will happen? What will be the result? Will this teacher get fired? Will this teacher have criminal charges brought up against her? I think she should. Because that's abuse. That's abuse. That's assault. And that's a minor. She should be nowhere near kids. What else is that woman capable of? Going to bring a 9-year-old up to the front of the class to tape a mask to their face and humiliate them in front of the class? You should be thrown out of school. You shouldn't be allowed to be 100 yards within a school premises, school ground, whatever you call it. And that's on top of the communist educators, the queer educators talking about gender and genitals, the people indoctrinating your kids. This is earth-shattering right here. This is a huge breakthrough. I think the paradigm is shifting. I think people are starting to wake up. It's college campuses at their football games. I hope we see more of it. Let's see if they, let's see if everywhere Biden goes, he's met with just hundreds, if not thousands of Americans holding up signs about how he betrayed the country, how he's completely incompetent, how he's corrupt, how he's broken so many promises, how he's ruined our country, made everything worse, made the cost of living go up. He's literally just destroyed everything. And I'm just wondering, who are the Biden supporters out there that can defend all of this mess that we're in? Who can defend it? It's funny how now that Biden's in office, anybody that would defend him would say, well, he's just one man. He can't do it without Congress. It's not just him. It's the military. It's funny how there's nuance now that Biden's in office. But when Trump was in office, everything was Trump's fault. The buck stops with Trump. It was his fault. But with Biden, all of a sudden, there's nuance. It's more complicated than that. Yeah, miss me with that. See, when people try to play that game, they're just letting you know how insincere they are. Ingenuine, fake. If you cared about all of this stuff happening under Trump, You need to care about it with Biden, or you don't care at all. You don't get to pick and choose and cherry pick. And no, we're not playing that silly game. So these world leaders, here's another video of Trudeau. Somebody threw some rocks at him. They threw rocks at Trudeau. Now, I don't agree with assault. I don't think that he should be assaulted. I don't think you should try to hurt the dude. I think you should let him know that you don't like him, that you don't like what he's doing. Use your words, be more clever. I don't know. I mean, I'm not endorsing violence at all. But I see people are upset. They're upset. They're pissed off. And they should be. So I think I've pretty much just kind of covered everything, man. I've covered it all. I got some other videos that have just been sitting in my watch later list, and I need to just dump them. So I'm going to go through just random ones right now while I got this audience. I appreciate y'all for being here. Please give it a thumbs up, if you will. And if you're looking for the super chat button, it's not there. This channel's not monetized yet. Honestly, do you really want to give YouTube 30% of whatever you donate to me anyway? I have a PayPal, I have Cash App, I have Venmo, and I got a P.O. box. And I got Patreon too. Appreciate my monthly subscribers on Patreon. You guys are great. So, let me see here. I just want to show this real quickly. I don't know how this came on my radar. This is the London 2012 Olympic opening ceremony. And I'm only going to play a second of it because not that much of it because copyright. I can actually just fast forward a little bit. But it's just interesting. This is from 2012, y'all. I don't know. Let me fast forward a little bit. Very ritualistic in nature. You got hospital beds. You got dancing nurses and doctors. Predictive programming. Or one of those coincidences. I know a lot of people out there say, this is just a coincidence, Mike. There's no way that they were foreshadowing, telegraphing their plans. There's no way Event 201 was telegraphing their plan. It was just a coincidence. But yeah, this is from 2012. The Olympic opening ceremony where you got a bunch of nurses and doctors dancing. You got kids that are in hospital beds looking sick. Kind of creepy stuff. I don't understand what that has to do with the Olympics. What kind of opening ceremony is that? I love the ones that are in like Japan or China, Korea, where they just have like colors and dancing and nice, like, I don't know, outfits or whatever. It's more festive. This looks like some kind of satanic cult ritual. So anyway, there's that. Something else out of Australia. I meant to cover this yesterday. Here's what's going on in Australia's health camps that they say are, good for you. Health camps, health hotels, quarantine hotels. Check this out. This is weird. Sounds like it's going well. Again, the profanity, guys. I can't police all the profanity. People are pissed off.
Do you know what? I reckon he's been here 2 weeks. This is out of control. This is police quarantine. This is shit.
Sounds like a psych
ward. This is totally shit. Poor guy. Fucking hell. People go crazy in hotel quarantine. I relate to it big time. Fuck. You obviously know there's a guy going off his head. Listen, why is he going off his head? Is it because he's supposed to be let out and you guys haven't let him out? Can someone call me? Can a doctor call me? Because I find this really disturbing.
I mean, y'all, does it sound like a health hotel to you? Or does it sound like somebody's getting tortured?
There's a guy going off his head. You obviously know that. There's a guy going off his head upstairs. He's punching walls. Yeah, can I ask why is he doing that? Is he supposed to be released from police quarantine? Yeah, but
This is
Yes,
every
okay,
dystopian themed movie you've ever seen. Every dystopian themed movie, novel that you've read, sci-fi thriller, that's what this is. This is a health camp in Australia, by the way, where people go to get healthy. They just care about your health.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's the gist of this video.
I think he's my next door neighbor.
I love that people are documenting this so the world can see this is what's happening in Australia. They've built health camps to lock people away. Healthy people. Does this guy look sick? If he's sick, he should be in bed. He should be on bed rest. He doesn't look sick to me. Just like Joe Rogan didn't look sick, even though CNN doctored the video to oversell it because people are catching on to this garbage. They're catching on. They're catching on. They're tired of the fake news, kind of like this next video from Hurricane Ida. Here's the Weather Channel pushing more fake news, political weather. We're not calling them tornadoes anymore, according to Joe Biden. Look at this. Why do we have fake news in the weather? When did you ever think you couldn't trust the Weather Channel? Look at people walking behind them.
Just because of the way that it's funneling through those buildings. So that's what we're going to have to watch out for. There's a lot of windows. There's a lot of pieces of debris certainly flying around. So, guys, we will absolutely do our best to bring you coverage as long as so.
Yeah, fake news coverage, guys. This is the Tell Lie Vision. Tell Lie Vision programming you. That's why they call it a program, because it's programming you. These people are sick. They're not well. They are not well. What else we got? So remember, what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago when ABC News Australia accidentally aired a clip of a satanic ritual live on TV? And people said, that must be doctored, Mike. It must be doctored. They put it in your face all the time. Here's John Legend. Look at this Baphomet symbolism.
Guys, a very
right here.
subtle jester right there pays homage to the Baphomet.
These people are evil.
Above,
This is all.
so
I better
below
stop
with
playing
a
that
life
because
force.
that's probably copyright. I don't want to deal with that. That happened to me yesterday. But they're doing Baphomet symbolism. There's rituals at the Olympic opening ceremony. Here's Tony Hawk talking about his blood being mixed in with paint.
Oh, Tony Hawk is wild. I mean, I guess.
Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Hawk, and I recently became an ambassador for Liquid Death Mountain Water. Apparently,
Evil
I didn't
guys.
read the fine print, and now Liquid Death officially owns my soul and my blood too. I don't know. It's very confusing. They're taking my blood, and we're going to use it for skateboard graphics. So they're going to mix my blood into the paint and do a limited run of skateboards using my real blood in the graphics. But some of the profits will go towards killing plastic pollution and to building skate parks in underserved communities. Yeah, so I guess go to liquiddeath.com to get skateboards with my blood in it.
Yeah, let's just get skateboards with the guy's blood in it because that's just normal, right? Just like spirit cooking is normal and hanging out with convicted pedophiles is normal. And my gosh, how much more evidence do people need to see? This is spiritual warfare playing out. The battlefield, this is real. All the stuff that has been talked about that was called conspiracy theory is real. There's a global takeover agenda. It's happening. I've showed you videos of it. I know I'm not talking to you guys, the majority of my audience. You guys get it. But there's people out there that just refuse to believe it. They can't see it. They cannot see it, even though you're putting it right in front of them. Like, hey, look, all the symbolism, all the predictive programming, the fact that Fauci said Trump was going to have to deal with a surprise virus. Fauci said it in 2017, 2 years after Bill Gates said that the world is overpopulated. You see people going from executive board members positions at the FDA, and then they're going over to Pfizer, something weird going on over there. I mean, just too much weird stuff. You got the agenda against kids. I mean, all this woke propaganda, evil stuff, trying to manipulate kids. They're mad that they can't abort kids after there's a heartbeat. They're upset that they can't stop a beating heart. That's what they're angry about because it's a sacrifice for them. They put it in front of you. You don't think that this is some global agenda? They want to police you. They want to indoctrinate your kids. They want to demoralize you. They're pushing all this degeneracy. They're pushing junk food. Every distraction television show on TV, take the Super Bowl, for instance. What are those commercials? Degeneracy, materialism, pharma pills. That's your programming from the Tell Live Vision. And then they push fake news from the Weather Channel to Rolling Stones. They're lying to you every single day. And people just don't seem to get it. Some people do, but some people don't. And on top of that, they got robot police dogs now. You don't think these are going to be in play at some point? Robot cop dogs to police you. This is in Singapore, but they've also piloted it in New York City, I believe Central Park. Got Boston Dynamics with these robots that look way more athletic than you. Imagine having one of those. Elon Musk is trying to get some lifelike robot.
Using Spot in a variety of hazardous environments like refineries and electric power plants.
I'm just doing a video dump, guys. That's all I'm doing is going through my list. Here's that Boston Dynamics robot. Yeah, how would you like to have one of these in your house? Enforcing COVID-19 measures. How does that sound, y'all? Tell me if you love it. Don't you just love it? Wouldn't you want one of these in your house? This super agile, probably 400-pound robot? Hey, it'll probably cook and clean for you. Yeah, doesn't that look amazing? Now, who's going to be the first to embrace this? I mean, it's going to be very expensive. Only billionaires will be able to afford it. Really wealthy people. Millionaires, I'll say that. But no, this looks more like we're going to defund the police and take all the money and put them into robotic resources. Yeah, you don't want to get your jab? You don't want to wear a mask? You don't want to leave that store? Well, guess what? Boston Dynamics got some for you. Yeah. How about no? They also got drones. Drones. You don't think that this... I just keep saying it. I'm going to just keep saying it.
We're in the middle of a crisis. We're on our peak.
They got drones policing you.
And we're serious about social distancing.
The mayor and city officials say they're prepared to enforce social distancing measures any public place that deems it necessary, saying they want to prevent places like Forsyth Park and other public areas from becoming crowded.
Outdoor spaces.
We have some of the cases we have was because people 2 weeks ago felt that life was normal. It's not normal.
The Savannah Police Department is using 5 drones to monitor the city.
We do not use our drones for random patrol. They're not flying all the time. We use them in directed areas where the need is present.
Using 2 of those drones to disseminate social distancing measures through pre-recorded messages.
Please help us keep you safe. Thank you for your cooperation.
They give us capability to put it airborne 100 feet in the air and cover a much larger area than an officer on foot could, and get the same message out rather quickly and safely.
We not only have video, but we also have the feet on the ground to make them break it up. This is just a warning.
Johnson says,
wow, it's just a warning, this drone.
If they don't, the mayor says he will take any necessary actions like closing the city's parks.
Because it's a cult, that's why.
If we are getting information back that people are not complying.
Sergeant Jason Pagliaro says officers will be following FAA restrictions while operating the drones, making sure
that's
they do
reassuring.
not fly over crowds and prohibited locations.
They're going to follow FAA restrictions, guys, so rest assured, because I'm sure that's what's on people's mind. Are they following FAA restrictions while they're policing me from the air? So they got drones, they got robot cop dogs, and they got human lifelike robots that can do backflips and turns and jumps. They're acrobatic. And they're going to use all that to enforce their draconian 1984 lockdown. So, yeah, we're not that far behind Australia. This is all stuff happening in the U.S. And most of it's a year old. What I just showed you, this one with the drone, that's from April of last year. So you don't think they're going to be rolling this out, coming to a city near you? I even covered this last year. I covered it in a video last year. They're policing you from the air to make sure that you're not violating COVID-19 protocols, right? And if you find a way, if you find a workaround, like, okay, fine, Rutgers, you don't want me to go to in-person classes? Fine, I'll just take online classes. Then they yanked the online classes. And I'm pretty sure I could type in Google right now, any college or, public institution or privately funded institution, and they've got some psychotic measure in place to try to tighten the noose, to try to force people to bow to big pharma. Why are they so desperate? Shouldn't the product sell itself? They don't trust you to govern your own affairs. They don't think people will just do it. Good, rightfully so. They don't think you'll fall in line and march yourself to the slaughter. So they need to try to herd you in with drones and robot cop dogs. How about no? And they're starting young. I think this is the last video I have. This is woke teachers explaining how they brainwash kids.
ESI Creates has been an amazing opportunity for our school to have time dedicated to come together to talk about how do we create anti-racist schools.
I see teaching as a very political act. When we are engaging with our students, whether it's on social justice issues or multicultural issues or culturally relevant teaching, I see that as foundational to all learning.
We are learning a lot about different issues in this world and what's happening around. We're mostly thinking about racial and culture in my class and how we could change the future.
We have all of these different people that are activists. We have gay people, we have transgender people, and we have people that are taking action. And we're learning how to take action in social studies now.
We've seen our students become empowered. We've seen them see that even at the age of 4, that they can take an active role and be activists.
At the age of 4.
So it's through this work that we realize that education,
so depressing.
Without this conversation.
So depressing. Robbing the youth of their innocence and calling it progressive. Cramming down their views, and they're telling you about it. Why are they bragging about this? You know why? Because they have allies in Congress, in the White House, in media, in entertainment. So naturally, academia will follow suit. It's pop culture now. Unfortunately, the world's worst people control all of our major institutions. That's the big problem. So we're fighting so many battles. This is a battlefield. I don't know how to say it any more plainly. This is a battlefield. Lines have been drawn in the sand. You're either on the God, liberty, truth, love, and freedom side, or you're on the demonic, satanic, evil, wicked, propaganda, manipulation, control side. The side that wants to destroy humanity, literally from the time of conception. They want to destroy human beings. And they'll get mad, they'll lash out if you stand in their way. Like, say, Greg Abbott in Texas. Good job, Greg Abbott. Good job. Good job on making voting rights and, the voter bill he just signed. Just made it law in Texas. That's good. That's a start. We got work to do. It starts with people going to school board meetings, specifically this one in, where did it go? Nevada, where the student got a mask taped to his face by a psychotic, crazy, cultist, authoritarian teacher who overstepped her boundaries, got humiliated in front of the classroom. There needs to be community outrage, school board meeting, just like Sacramento last week. This week, we got a new teacher. This needs to happen more and more and more across the country, along with letting Joe Biden know what you think of him wherever he goes. Just like Canada, they're letting Trudeau know any public event he goes to, he's going to be met with opposition. Same thing with Biden. Kamala Harris, she's going to be out in California trying to brainwash Californians to convince them why they should stay the course with their psycho tyrant governor. They need to be met with opposition. That's pretty much all I got for y'all today. I think I've said more than enough, and we're at an hour now. I've covered everything. Let me read some comments, and then I'm just going to, I don't know, man, wrap up. And yeah, I appreciate 60 people watching. This is tremendous. Thank you guys for being here. Please just make sure the best thing you can do to help this channel grow is just give it a thumbs up. That's all you got to do. Give it a thumbs up. Help this channel grow. We're going to grow this channel. I have enough subs to monetize, but I have to meet some other criteria before I can monetize this channel. And I will get this channel monetized, and I will be active on this channel going forward in addition to my main channel. So make sure that if you're new, you are subscribed, you hit the bell notifications. I know a bunch of people have followed me from the Salty Cracker, the Salty Army. Appreciate y'all for being here. Let's Be Frank, people coming over from that channel, appreciate you. And my loyal supporters, the people that have been with me from day one, appreciate y'all for being here. Judge Death in the chat. Interesting name, but appreciate you for being here. Jennifer Pitts, DM always in here. Donnie, Christine, Auburn FL Tiger, No Sheeple. Appreciate you all. For the love of Inky 13. I don't know if that's what it said, but appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Red Feather in the chat. God bless you. Yeah, there's no super chat feature, so there's no way for me to like read what you're saying, or like if you're trying to address me directly. But yeah, man, this is deep. This is deep, y'all. This is it right here. All the stuff that was called conspiracy theory is real, including UFOs, apparently. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That's not even something I'm interested in. But the fact that the government's admitting, yeah, there's unidentified flying objects, there's intelligent life forms, they're just out there. I just won't even go there. But all the things that we thought were conspiracy theory are coming out and turning out to be true. And there's interesting developments that I really will not say, but just Google it if you want. Interesting developments out of Connecticut, where a mass shooting took place at an elementary school about 10 years ago. I think you know what I'm talking about, but there's an interesting development there with a subpoena. You can just look it up. I don't think I can even say the words because of all of the conspiracy theories out there. That one gets snuffed out and scrubbed from the internet, dumped down the memory hole the quickest. But you know what I'm talking about. The shooting that took place in Connecticut at an elementary school, there's something there. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going any further into it. Yep. You put it in the chat. Very, very interesting stuff there. So, yeah, guys, that's all I got to say. God bless our country. God bless all of you guys. You know, in the end, God wins. The devil knows his days are numbered. He's overplaying his hand right now. You're seeing these devils lash out. That's why they're doing all the satanic symbolism. That's why they're preying on children. That's why they're lashing out. They're also showing you who they are. They have to. They have to expose who they are. Good. Keep those TikTok videos rolling so we can expose them. All right? That's it. I'm wrapping. God bless you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.